2, 3. So you want to go fast, but you don't have a lot of money to spend. Well, my friend, you're in luck, because we're gonna cover plenty of options that'll get you going over that 150-mile-an-hour barrier on a budget. I mean, chicks dig fast cars. So here are 5 speed demons and an honorable mention that'll get you into big trouble real quick. Let's go. Real quick, before we get started, this video was only made to keep your car safe from the bad boys, so don't become one of them. Oh, and today's sponsor is Fixed. That helps you not get ripped off when you take your car in to get serviced. Yeah, we've all been there, where you get a quote from a mechanic and you question if your car really needs all that maintenance. Or are they just trying to make a quick buckaroo? Well, Fixed is your second set of eyes. Link is down in the description. Support the channel. So you're looking for a German muscle car with strikingly good looks, a playful demeanor, and enough grunt to easily get you to 150 miles an hour and beyond? Well then, the E39 M5 is the epitome of all those qualities. But this video is going over cheap cars that can break the speed barrier. So first on this list is the BMW E39 540i, or the little brother of the legendary BMW M5. I mean, just think about it. The 540i is almost a baby M5 in a bunch of different ways. It still packs a V8 under the hood. The M62 4.4 liter V8 pushes out 282 horses rather than the 400 horses of the M5, but it's still more than enough to get you into trouble. And with a little exhaust modification, it can sound heavenly. Plus, you can get the regular 5-speed with a manual 6-speed transmission. And once you start rowing your own gears, baby, the power deficit will become a distant memory. And you can't forget it's an E39 5 Series, which is the best handling 5 Series of all time. So you get brilliant steering tied to a more than capable chassis, which will keep you rock stable all the way up to the electronically limited 155 miles an hour. Oh, and I almost forgot. The E39 5 Series can actually be more desirable in a certain configuration than the M5. Specifically, the V8 powered 6-speed manual rear wheel drive BMW 540i wagon. I'm more of an sedan man myself, but V8 wagons with a manual get my heart revving. So which would you rather have, a 540i wagon or an M5? Either way, the E39 BMW 540i is a cheap land rocket that'll catapult you to 150 and beyond. I'm gonna take you guys on a little journey back to 2003 and throw you a couple of photos. This first one is the recently introduced Nissan 350Z, and this second one is the new G35. Looks pretty similar, right? Well, that's not your eyes playing tricks on you, because the Infiniti G35 is built on the same bones as the 350Z sports car and uses a similar V6 engine for some serious sporting credentials. So here's the thing. Way back in the early 2000s, the German automakers were dominating the luxury coupe market, from the likes of BMW, Audi, and Mercedes. But you know, when the G35 coupe hit the tarmac back in 2003, all of those automakers took notice. And personally, I don't really think of it as a luxury coupe, but rather a genuine sports car, because it's essentially a 2+2 version of the Nissan 350Z. And boy, oh boy, is it an attractive design from every angle, with an aggressive front, wide stance, and a beautiful rear end. Kind of like your mom. But where they differ is that this car is a winner of Motor Trend's Car of the Year award. And one of the main reasons is its 3.5 liter 6-cylinder engine pushing out 282 horses and 269 foot-pounds of torque, which has one of the most intoxicating sounds you could listen to all day long. Which is a good thing, because this exhaust note will wail from 0 to 60 in roughly 5.5 seconds, and if you keep it pinned, it will peg 155 miles an hour. Now the hard choice, they came in both coupe and sedan, and although I can't say that 4-doors aren't sexy, I mean, just look at the Evo and WRX. If you had a choice on which one you'd buy using the ideal car strategies, the coupe would be the one to get. Yeah. You don't have to look very hard at the Camaro SS to see all of its muscle car DNA. Big V8, stick shift tranny, low slung profile, and the distinctly American muscle 2+2 interior configuration. And we all know that Camaros carry the heavy stigma that their drivers live in trailer parks and they let their mullets flow in the breeze of their T-tops, which is fine by me. Because the 325 horsepower all aluminum LS1 was the exact same motor that you'll find in the C5 Corvette. And that motor will blast this F-body Camaro from standstill to 60 miles an hour in roughly 5 seconds. And as long as your mullet didn't fall off, or even if it did, this Camaro will hit 160 miles an hour. But you've been warned. Although they're relatively quick, the handling and braking are suspect on this generation. In fact, do you know what they call a Camaro with brakes? Customized. And the person that buys a Camaro is the one that values American-style tire-burning performance above anything else. Okay, yes, it's not as glamorous as the legendary 911, but the first generation Porsche Boxster isn't as expensive either. When it was first released, the 986 Boxster had the same hood, front wings, headlights, and interior design as the 996 911, which I gotta ask, and please let me know down in the comments. What do you guys think of the 996 911? Personally, I've been thinking about adding one to the channel, specifically finding an ideal C4S with that iconic, dare I say, most beautiful 911 rear end ever. But those damn headlights are suspect. But do you think you could get over them? Because what I want to do on the Ideal Cars YouTube channel is do an interactive build on a car. Personally love 911s, and I think the 996 911 is the best value out there, period. Essentially, I built a software so that you guys can give your opinion on which wheels, suspension, buckets, and if we supercharge it or not. Ultimately, you have a say in everything we do on the car, because the thing that gets the most votes wins. So would you guys be down with doing that with a 996? Let me know down in the comments. Okay, cars kind of get me fired up. Where were we? Oh, the Porsche 986 is the internal designation for the first generation Boxster. It's mid-engined, has 2 seats, and in theory is the better sports car when compared to the 911, which has its engine in the ass and is prone to that good old snap oversteer. But this video is all about speed, and the Boxster S has it. The 3.2 liter 6-cylinder engine pushes out 250 horses, barbecuing 0 to 60 in roughly 6 seconds. And if you stay on it, you'll do a couple ticks over 160 miles an hour. Plus, you never have to apologize when you show up in a Porsche. I mean, just last week, I went on a golfing trip in Oregon with my Porsche 997 911. Yeah, the ski box makes it easier for me to haul my clubs. And the thing about Oregon is you're not allowed to pump your own gas. So the attendant comes out and puts premium in it, and when he's done, the total is $40.17. So I whip out 220s out of my money clip and dig in my other pocket for some change. Well, my change was mixed up with a couple of golf tees. So I pull out a handful of both. The attendant looks at me and goes, "What are those little wooden things?" And not even thinking, I tell him that's where I put my balls when I drive. The dude looks at me in disbelief and says, "Those Porsche guys think of everything." Before we get to the last car on this Fast and Furious list, we gotta include a car that's got a Hemi. And the first generation Chrysler 300C SRT8 has a Hemi. And that 6.1 liter Hemi produces 425 horses and almost as much torque. And what I love about the 300C is that it's essentially a poor man's Mercedes E55 AMG, with acceleration from 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. And a top cruising speed of 173 miles an hour. Yeah, you can say it's a discount German super sedan, but I like to think of it as a 4-door Dodge Viper. Either way, it's got the second highest top speed on this list, but it's also one hell of a sleeper, which you might want to go check out the 4 other competitors on this list. Sadly, the last car on this list is an utter failure. But give me a second to explain why it's the perfect used performance bargain that everyone forgets. See, General Motors had a brilliant idea. They were gonna bring the slow-selling Holden Monaro to the USA and just throw a badge on it that says Pontiac GTO and sell the shit out of them. But just like their disappointing sales in Australia, no one seemed to buy them in America either. And if you can get over the fact that this GTO looks kinda sorta like a Cavalier on steroids, then you have yourself one badass muscle car with an LS2 pumping out 400 horses and 400 foot-pounds of torque, catapulting it to 60 miles an hour in 4.7 seconds. and topping out at 175 miles an hour. I mean, looks aren't everything, right? Well, it looks like you shouldn't do these upgrades to your car, or you should check out what YouTube recommends you watch next. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed, like 98% of you, hit that subscribe button. But either way, you can't lose, and as always, keep living that ideal lifestyle.